So can you give us a little geography lesson?
Yes, Netanya is on the coast of Israel, not far from Caesarea. So if you have an idea of Caesarea, it's about 15 minutes drive from Caesarea. So yes, Peter, when you walked to Caesarea, you walked through Netanya.
Okay.
From Joppa. No, Netanya wasn't there back then, but yeah, that's.
So tell us a little bit about the congregation. How many people there, and tell us a little bit about the work there in Netanya.
So Netanya is a new congregation, relatively speaking, especially the Hebrew congregation, which is made mainly of Russian-speaking friends. So let me explain. We have 2,000 publishers in Israel. Most of them are Russians. I know it's unbelievable, but after the fall of the Soviet Union, many Jews, Russian Jews, came to Israel, immigrated to Israel. And many of them were really thirsty for the truth. They really want to study. So if you knew Russian back then in the 90s, you had 20 studies. People would line up to study. Unlike, the locals, they don't like us that much. The Israelis, the Jewish people here, they don't like Jesus. They don't like the fact that we don't serve in the army and all the holidays and festivals. But the Russians really came and they grew, boomed, really many congregations. And now many Russian kids, they speak Hebrew, even better than Russian. So they move to the Hebrew congregations and support us. Now finally we have more Hebrew congregations.
Well, tell us, how's the work going in Israel? What's it like, and how are the friends doing?
So here the work is free. We are not allowed to talk to minors, though. We have to make sure that somebody is over 18. Again, as I said, we are not that many. That's why we have those preaching campaigns, just to cover the territory. A common reaction on a daily basis is, what is Jehovah's Witnesses? Never heard of. So we talk to people, hello, we present ourselves, and then, what? What is it? They think we are messing with them, not they think we are just, are you for real? Yes. Is there yeah, look it up. Yes, jw.org. And so they never heard of Jehovah's Witnesses. So that's a common reaction here. Again, proselytizing is not something that they like. Family, that's what matters. So if they don't like it, forget it. The person would quit. It will take years for a person to come into the truth. But they do come, little by little, yes.
So you do phone witnessing? Do you do any letter writing? Or is it just mostly phone?
Letter writing, phone witnessing, yes, we're allowed to have lists, no problem. And now with the phone witnessing, we even get to call to religious people, hardcore, ultra-Orthodox, because we don't talk to them usually. When we go on the street or door to door, we avoid them because they can be very aggressive. But now on the phone, you don't know who is on the other side. So you talk to them and then you realize, and you know what, sometimes we have nice conversations with them. So it's nice, we get to talk to them as well.
Excellent.
Yes.
Before I turn it over to the congregation to make comments, do you have any experiences you could share with us? Maybe one or two experiences that are encouraging.
Well, we have many experiences throughout the service. But now usually with the phone witnessing, we get to talk to people that were lost. For instance, just a week ago, my wife talked to a woman from India. And it turned out that she was studying with Jehovah's Witnesses in India. She came as a caretaker, and she lost contact. And now my wife found her a week ago, and now she resumed her contact. So now so it's nice. We get to do that. We get to find people on the phone. Another person just a few weeks ago said, wow, Jehovah's Witnesses. 20 years ago, I was in Australia, and that was the nicest experience I had, meeting Jehovah's Witnesses back then. Remember that. Now he's a family man. So he just waits for the meetings to resume, and then he said he will be happy to come. So you don't know on the phone.
Excellent.
Don't know who is there.
Yeah, we're finding some of those too. That's interesting. So, well, friends, I know you'd like to make a comment or two about the talk, which we really enjoyed, Brother Katry, or ask a question. Matthew, Christy, did you have or Corinne, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I was curious to know more about how in your talk you had mentioned that you now have a more easily readable Hebrew translation. do you have the whole Bible? When did that? I wasn't aware that you guys didn't have one before.
Yes, we did. Yeah, no, many friends don't realize that. Up until 2020, January 2020, we would read the original text. Not in scrolls, but the original text. So the same what Moses wrote, what Jeremiah wrote, which is nice to take, wow, written thousands of years ago, but the Hebrew has changed. So it's not easy to understand. We had the New Word Translation of the Greek Scriptures released in 2012. We had a special convention for that, 2012. And then 2020, the full New Word Translation of the Hebrew Scriptures as well. Yes, finally. Okay, here the public, they don't like it that much. They don't care. I mean, they say, oh, this is, don't touch it. That's the ancient script. But it's helpful for the friends as well. And sometimes when you share the verse, you can show the original text, and then you want to see that in a readable Hebrew, understandable Hebrew. Look, and they, wow, that's interesting. So we try to share the link.
I imagine it's had a very good effect in the congregations, though, and the young people having it and understanding.
Exactly. Yes. Now you can see. Yes, very good.
Thank you. We have Kyoki. Kyoki, do you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I have two quick questions. One is, do they recognize the name Jehovah? Because a lot of Jews won't pronounce the name. So I was wondering if when they say Jehovah's Witnesses, do they say Jehovah's Witnesses? And the other question is, what is your favorite place in Israel from a biblical standpoint?
Well, the second question, my favorite place in Israel is the airport. No, I'm just kidding. Who say that? No, the Sea of Galilee. I like the Sea of Galilee area. It's nice. Jerusalem is also beautiful. Now you hear about the riots and everything, but Jerusalem, we used to serve in Jerusalem, and we miss that city, really. Now, with Jehovah, it's just interesting that you mentioned that most people, I would say many people, don't recognize the sound of it. They would see the four letters, they would know. Yehovah, yes. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. But when they hear Jehovah, they don't. Sometimes you might get a reaction, no, there is no Jehovah in the building. They think there is, it's a person you're looking for. And so, no, that's God's name. Really? And you show it to them and they are shocked. In a sense, they are blinded to it because it's right there in their Bibles. But when you go to school, first grade, second grade, you start reading, you read the Bible. Okay, so it's part of the history, part of the heritage here. And then when you read Jehovah, the teacher will tell you off. Don't say that. Don't say Jehovah. Say Adonai, the Lord, or the name, Hashem. So since then that's it. It's an autocorrect in your brain. And trust me, they don't even see the name anymore. It's amazing. You tell them to read the verse and say Adonai, Adonai. You say, oh, look at the letters. It's like their eyes are, I didn't see that. They're blinded to it. Yes, I know, it's crazy, but the brain changes it into Adonai, of the Lord.
So, Iran, everybody wants to know, or several people wants to know about that bird. What's the bird's name, and what kind of bird?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to hide it. I really, because it was making noise in the other room, and I said I don't want it to interrupt.
So what's the bird?
He's very spiritual-minded. Spiritual-minded bird. His name is Oscar. It's a Senegal. It's a parrot. You see, I put it on the side. Oscar, I want to say hi. No, he's not very friendly now.
Okay, so we got that mystery solved. Oh, and Anna Greenfield?
Yeah. Well, I want to give a comment for the brothers and sisters out in Israel, because my Presley sister is not a witness, but she asked me about witnesses in Israel. She made a comment about Jehovah's Witnesses to her hairdresser. Her hairdresser came from Israel. I'm talking about in New York, in Rhode Island, New York, where my sister lives. She asked, her hairdresser was from Israel. And she said, oh yeah, there's a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses in Israel. there's lots of them over there. And I'm thinking there's 2,000 brothers and sisters out of a population of 9 million. That tells me the brothers and sisters are out there preaching. It looks like there's more witnesses than 2,000 brothers and sisters. So please tell the brothers and sisters that they have been doing a good job in prison because people notice.
It's true. You know what? Let me explain. There's another explanation to that. Thank you for the commendation. But, okay, we do get some phone calls. There are some organizations that fight sects or cults. So I just, the other day, like 3 days ago, I got a phone call from that person, one of their leaders. And he said, please stop calling Jewish people. He asked us to do that on the phone. Please stop doing it. It hurts our feelings. It's a Jewish state. And you know what? I said, okay, we'll stop. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. I said, forget it. I mean, come on. Yeah. It's a free country, and this is part of our faith. So we need to talk to people. But let me explain something, Anna. There are many Jews for Jesus here in Israel, Messianic Jews, about 20,000. So they believe in Jesus, but they also believe in the Jewish faith. They do all the Jewish festivals. They serve in the army, and they believe that Jesus is God. So people get confused with us and them. So that's the problem. Sometimes she might be referring to them, honestly, but they're not doing as much as we do when it comes to preaching, but they are out there, yes. 20,000, and we're only 2,000. Yeah.
Thank you for your comment.
It's easier. You have to realize it's easier to be a Jews for Jesus because you just accept Jesus. Everything is love and peace, no problem, and you do your own thing, and that's it. And God loves you.
Thank you. Sister Stewart, Heather Stewart had a comment or question.
Thank you so much for coming, Aaron. We appreciate you being our tour guide this morning. That was a lovely talk. Thank you so much for bringing it to life. My question is, if I'm not mistaken, Jehovah's Witnesses were not in Israel 40 years ago. There were no Jehovah's Witnesses in Israel about 40 years ago.
No. Actually, Jehovah's Witnesses are there before Israel was established, are here. It started in Ramallah, in Haifa, in Bethlehem, and right when the state was established 73 years ago, there were Jehovah's Witnesses, yes. And the first ones in the Hebrew field came from Europe, those who survived the Holocaust. My mom, she came into the truth over 50 years ago here in Israel. So,
okay.
Yes, there were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay, wonderful, because maybe it was the information I had gotten. Maybe it was in the city of Jerusalem where there were no congregations, no...
yes. Probably, yes.
Yeah, no established book studies or anything. A brother had mentioned this information is probably about 30 years ago that the Gaza Strip was it especially difficult territory to get the truth to. And at one point, the brother that shared this information said that there was a sister by the name of Jane.
Yes.
Who was there by herself serving in an unbelieving family. Do you know of Jane or?
Oh yes. We helped her a lot from Bethel. I used to serve in Bethel, and we helped her a lot. She got baptized. Her husband made her come to Gaza, and he changed his mind. And it's like the movie Not Without My Daughter. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. So it's pretty much like that. That's exactly what happened to her. In a sense, became strict with her, and now she can't leave, and she wants her children with her. And finally, she left. So finally, she found a way out. I don't know if they're still together with her husband or not, but she's still in the truth. I do know for sure that she's still a witness.
Thank you, Heather. Sister Pradant, you had a comment or a question.
Yes. Thank you for your great talk. The question I have for you is, how is life with COVID, and what's the percentage of people that have the virus?
In Israel, how are we doing with the COVID, you're asking?
Yes.
Is that the question? Okay. No, we don't have it here. It's the Holy Land. No, just kidding. No, we do. So We actually, few weeks ago, up until a few weeks ago, I think about 60-70% are all vaccinated, included myself. So it's going down. It's almost gone. They don't talk about it anymore on the news. So here you need to on the street. You don't have to have face mask. But if you go into a mall, into a shopping mall, yes, they're about to cancel that as well. So we'll see, to lift this restriction as well. So it seems like we are the only ones who are still home. I mean, special pioneers, we are still under, stay home.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Anything else, Sister Pradhan? Any other questions?
No.
Okay. How about Sister Wilson? Wanda?
Hi, Brother, for that wonderful talk. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
You were.
Yes, now we can hear you. Yes.
And my question to you is that if you can be a real tour guide when my husband and I go to Israel, would you or could you?
Yes, I mean, yes, no problem. I do that from time to time if I have availability, a day or two. Usually what friends don't realize, if you do come to Israel, and I've been doing that with many friends, it only takes 1 or 2 days if you need somebody with you. And then the rest, just do it on your own. It's very easy. You realize it when you come here. Jerusalem, it's nice to have somebody with you. Up in the north, yes, there are some locations that it's nice to have somebody with you, local ones, but then you're on your own, it's easy. Everyone speaks English, the driving is easy, and you'll see.
Awesome.
But
Well,
sure,
I'll make sure that get your information from Gary when we're ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jamel?
Hi, Brother Katry. Really enjoyed your talk. One of the points I liked was when you mentioned why people get lost on the tour, and it's because they don't have a group mentality. So that was a nice point. And then also just not taking the Bible for granted, realizing that other friends don't have or are just now able to read the Bible and it touched their heart versus using 2 different translations. So I appreciate those points. My question was, when you have the campaigns in Israel, what are some of the highlights for you when those other friends come and assist?
Well, you know what? The highlight is the friends themselves, because usually when we have friends coming over, we're not that, the theocracy here is not that, I don't know how to say that, not mature. We have mature friends, but there are not that many. So we have friends like Gary, or, people like that, solid brothers, and we learn a lot from them. And honestly, when the friends come, and for the local friends, that's the benefit. They see theocracy in action, like the real deal, like that's the way to do it. Because you don't have that many, we have young ones, and so it takes a while to train, to grow, and we have those brothers, and that's great for the friends, to realize that they are part of something big. You only see 30 publishers with you, and always opposition, and now you see, wow, I'm part of something bigger. That's the benefit, that's the main benefit, I would say.
Thank you, Jamel. Brother Choi, and then we'll go to the Cassius.
Yeah, hello. Thank you again for the talk, Aaron. Very nice to see you again. It's okay that you don't remember me,
Sorry.
I'm not hurt or anything. I'm just, but it's great to see you again, yeah. But anyway, we had the thing about Daniel's prophecies and the broadcast, right? And so the 70 weeks and that. So, I mean, at least the Jews who are studious, and I'm sure you probably had some kind of discussions with them about it, and how did they view this, and how do these discussions go? 70 weeks.
Okay, so the only how do you say that? The rebuttal, you might say, the way they answer to Daniel 9 is the fact that none of the apostles used it. So they say, if that's a prophecy about the Messiah, how come it's not quoted in Romans or Acts or Matthew or the Gospels? And the answer to that is very clear. If you think about Daniel's prophecy, many of them were to be understood in the last days. When you look back now, after the temple is destroyed, okay, now I get a clear picture. Now I see that clearly. But back in the first century, it wasn't really clear what was going on. And by the time the temple is destroyed, you have the apostasy already start going among the congregations. So it's not there in the New Testament. That's their key argument against that. See, that's what they would tell you.
Interesting. And I think we have one more. The Cashes. This will be our last comment, Brother or Sister Cash.
Okay. We enjoyed your talk, dear brother. Thank you very much for your expressions. We appreciated having you visit us. I noticed that you're not too far from the branch office there in Tel Aviv, right?
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes drive. I mean, half an hour drive, yeah, the traffic.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I have a question, and my wife has one, if that's okay. But anyway, I just wanted to ask if you got to know a missionary brother from some time ago by the name of Eric Miller. You heard that name?
Of course, yes. He was one of the elders I grew up in Haifa, and he was the elder there with Don Koenig. So, yes, I know him very well. Brenda.
Yes, yeah.
I think they're in Long Island now. If I'm not
mistaken. Yeah, Eric and I served at Wallkill together back in the day. So I remember when he went through Gilead, and then they were assigned to Israel. So very nice. Nice to have that connection, but enjoyed your part. My wife has a question too.
Yeah, I was just reading a little bit about the report of the release of the Bible on jw.org, and it mentioned that it says undoubtedly the 603 Hebrew-speaking publishers among the more than 2,000 publishers in Israel branch territory will use this special gift. So then what other languages do the publishers speak?
Russian, Arabic. We have English congregations, one in Tel Aviv, one in Haifa, one in Jerusalem. Mainly, by the way, Filipinos. They come here as caretakers, English speaking. And then we have also sign language, really big, growing. What else do we have? We have a small group, Spanish as well. Yes.
Interesting.
So
that's not bad.
Very nice.
So the work is being done to help those.
Go ahead, Elise. I'm sorry.
So then the work is being done to help those groups as well, to witness.
Oh,
to
yes.
those
I have a study with an English-speaking person here in the time. I found him on the phone. His name is Denise. He's from India. And we talk and we study. He speaks Hebrew as well, so he's been here for a while. And it's nice. And they are humble and they accept Jesus. It's easy.
That's good. Very nice to know. Nice to know.
Yes.
Thank you, Elise. And I lied. There's one more, and then I know you're busy, Ron, but Brother Shabeta would like to ask a question or make a comment. Go ahead, Joe.
Your talk was extraordinary, Brother Katry. Extraordinary. The analogy that you wove through the talk was priceless, and just so effective. Thank you so much. When I was a little older, around 9 or 10 years old, we moved to a Orthodox Jewish community, and I mixed with the Jewish boys and girls. But one of the things that impressed me about you, you're with the Hasidim, is it?
Yes.
Hasidim. The Hasidim.
Hasidim, yeah. Hasidim, yeah.
I noticed they're very, very bitter, not happy people. Nasty, kind of, I don't know how else to say it, nasty.
Yeah, I get
it. They're nasty, bitter, dark. And I'm looking at you, and you're so full of joy and happiness, and you got that big smile on your face, like nothing bothers you. And I'm wondering, I know about the Holy Spirit. I know that much. That gives us joy. But there's something going on in you that's very, very admirable. You are not affected by the Hasidim and the nasty way they treat us. And the way they treat anybody outside of the Jewish faith. But you have a smile on your face. How do you?
They grow up to believe that they are better. Yes, they grow up to believe that they are better. They have an extra soul in them. They say we have an extra soul.
That's it.
From the Jewish faith, yes.
And
so
now,
they are above.
So you've maintained joy. I understand the spiritual side, but how do you maintain that level of enthusiasm? And you're above the Hasidim, way high above the Hasidim. How do you do it?
Well, I don't spend much time with them, trust me. So we are mostly with our friends, and it's contagious. And secondly, I mean, that's the way I talk. This is really part of the culture here. We're really passionate when we talk with our hands. You know, you want to silence an Israeli, tie his hands. And that's the joke here. And now I can't talk without it. So this is part of, sometimes when we were looking for deaf people, I was in sign language. I could see two Israelis talking. I thought they were deaf. Excuse me, are you deaf? No, I'm just talking. That was funny. I had yeah,
well, thank you.
You know, thank you.
Thank you. I know you're busy with translation service. You have a circuit assembly coming up and lots of things. And so we really appreciate your time today and the extra interview. This is a real treat for us, Eran. And
thank you.
Please tell the friends that we think about them. We miss them in Netanya. And please tell Tova we said hello. Is she around? Can she wave at us?
No, she's not home. No, but she's out. That's why.
Well, tell her we missed her.
She doesn't even know I had a talk. You know what? I totally forgot about it. Thank you for sending me the reminder. Okay. It's my bad. I didn't put it in my calendar. And then you sent me a text and she said, I think you have a talk. I said, no, I have no talk. She doesn't even know. I'm embarrassed to tell her. She was right.
Well, tell her we said hello.
I'm going to change before she comes back home. She doesn't know nothing.
We appreciate it, Brother Katry. Thank you so much.